I feel like it's been a couple of months now that grill has been there. Remember that girl's bike that was over there at the other one over there? That's funny. I wonder if that guy was trying to run, like, get in that parking spot, but I was in the way. Let's talk about hair loss. So last night, and look, hey, seriously, I should do a channel about just going to dumpsters and finding stuff that people throw away. There's nothing wrong with these chairs, right? I should, like, take them to my own office. Pretty decent chair. I might actually take them back into my office without explanation. It is a little bit wobbly. It's all right, though. So again, back to hair loss. Last night, I was at Publix, which I think it's a southern chain. It's based out of Lakeland, Florida. But Publix is a supermarket. And I was there because my wife wanted some ice cream and we needed a few other things. So I was there. As I'm walking in, I see Raymond Preston, who I interviewed last night. And he was actually one of the first people I met when I moved to Nashville back in September of '05. And he was doing this writing class because I had started my blog like a month before. And so I went to this workshop he did for like 2 months. And I was learning, how to basically be a blogger, but it was more about like just writing in general. So I've been friends with him since September of '05, but I haven't seen him in a couple years. So we got to talking, and as we were catching up, that's when it came up about I was like, hey, so what about an interview? And because he's such a cool guy, he did it. He was happy to do it. So that's really exciting for me. I love interviewing other people about hair loss. It's so much fun for me. But one of the things that came out in that 5-minute interview that you saw was I picked up on the fact that he was envying my scruff. Now, this is Thursday morning right now. That was Wednesday night. So it had been like 3.5 days since I had shaved. Now it's been like 4 days or whatever. I shaved, I think, on Sunday. So around 4 days since I've shaved. And this is what's normal for me is that, I'm going to have this much scruff after this many days. And apparently it had been the same amount for him, but I was standing right next to him, and it's just not as thick as mine at all. And that's a common theme that we're seeing for men that are in their late 50s and still have most of their hair. They never have really been able to grow that beard. And that's one of the things I've been theorizing for months. And I'm wanting to, be the guy that makes that theory obvious, And all this it's hair loss theory. I'm not here to say it's always going to be that way. But I'm going to say if there's a pattern, I want to be the guy that points it out when it comes to hair loss. So a pattern I definitely see is men who keep most of their hair, and he's, 57? They also struggle to grow facial hair. There's definitely going to be exceptions to the rule. Definitely. But when you see an overwhelming pattern, when it's happening 70% of the time, 80% of the time, that's a pattern which, therefore, I'm going to make a theory based off of that. But anyway, so it's interesting that he kind of jokingly envied my scruff, my beard. And I gotta admit, when I was a teenager and I was starting to grow like a full beard, I was so proud. I was so excited about it. I remember my yearbook picture from when I was in 11th grade. Like, I had like the scruff beard in that picture, which, I would have been 16 when that picture was taken because my birthday's in April. So I was 16 and I had this scruffy beard, and, that's how it's been for me. And I was so proud as a teenager, by the time I could drive, I had to shave or otherwise I'd be this way. And there was a couple of us guys at my school that were that way. I was so proud. And because for me, it was such a symbol of manhood and masculinity that, hey, I can grow a beard. Most of the guys my age can't. This is great. And of course, even as a 16-year-old, which was how many years ago? 20 years ago, I knew that I was going to lose my hair. I knew that. And I don't know, for me, they just went hand in hand. You're able to grow a beard, you also are going to lose your hair. Those have always been my expectations. So I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't really freak out when I did start noticing my hairline change. First time I noticed it was when I was 19. And then I just lucked out and still have kept most of my hair since then. But I guess for me, it's just that I always maybe subconsciously valued my facial hair and my ability to grow facial hair more so than my hair, because I always knew my hair would leave me. I always knew that. I knew for me to keep all my hair, I'd have to get a hair transplant. I always knew that, and I just didn't value it. Because in my version, again, my identity as a man, my identity in masculinity, it's revolving around my ability to grow a beard. So that's what, I don't know, I've always seen my identity in. Grow a beard, lose your hair eventually, that's normal. That's anything beyond that would not be normal to me. So my norm, hey, I get to always have a beard. And it's funny because Raymond, my good friend Raymond, what is he, 57 years old? He's 21 years older than me. And I won't have as much hair as he does at that age, because we can all speculate, but I don't know, what Norwood is he? I guess maybe 2. But I've already got less hair than him. My hairline already goes up higher than his, for sure. And yet he's 21 years older than me. He's close to 60. But yet, he wishes that he could grow a beard. And he always has wished that. And he said that. So it's funny. It's funny to try to reverse the roles and put myself in that situation of a man who's kept most of his hair and he's nearly 60. And yet, he always wished he could grow a beard. And that's something I've been able to do since I was a teenager. But even before I could legally drive, I'm sure I probably, you know, if I had a full beard at 16, then I had one at 15 years and 11 months, right? I mean, so it is interesting. I mean, I just feel, again, you can find exceptions to the rule. But I feel that every time I interview a guy that's much older and has much more hair than me, he's a guy who struggles to grow a beard. That's a common theme. Or it wasn't until his 20s that he grew a beard. So it's just so much fun to theorize about this. And it's interesting to put myself on the other side. What if I was the opposite? What if as a teenager, I envied the other guys in my school that already had full stubble on their face, and I didn't? And then I couldn't finally grow a beard until I was out of college. But then I haven't really had any recession yet on my hair. Like, I cannot imagine that being me. But that seems to be the other side of this pattern. I can't imagine that being me, because this is all I ever expected. The only thing that hasn't come true that I expected is that I expected to have a lot less hair by now. I expected to be Norwood 4.5 or 5 by age 36. That's the only part of my expectations that didn't come true. So one of the themes we see in this video right now is having expectations, and realistic expectations. And that way, if they end up becoming true or not, you're already prepared for them, like I was. I was prepared for a lot less hair. I still have hair. So what do I have? I have nothing but gratitude. Hey, I'm glad to still have this much hair. And one day my time will be up and I won't have it anymore. But it's okay, because I already had my mind where it needed to be. But it's so funny to me to think that for some guys, it's like, how long do I get to keep my hair? And then it's other guys, it's like, will I ever get to have a full beard?